We're back here on Sports Talk Chicago alongside Sam Olbur. I'm Matt Cozzi. Shout out to all our great radio and TV affiliates. Shout out to John Z, who's built this Sports Talk Chicago machine. And John Meadows is back at the metal shop helping us out behind the scenes. Of course, I had some Bulls prepped as this is a Chicago sports show, but I don't think we're going to do that, Sam. I think we're going to talk some March Madness with the rest of the time we have left before we get to Cole Wright. And the Big Ten tournament is this week. Selection Sunday is this weekend. We have some local flavor with Illinois, with Northwestern. Where would you like to start?
Well, first of all, I could do the Bulls segment right here. They're in the worst spot you could be in, the middle of the NBA with no superstars and no chances to win the title. So now let's talk about Illinois, the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. This is my favorite basketball team.
You shouldn't laugh like that. We're on the radio.
I'm very excited about this club. I think this is the first time, obviously in 2021, Brad Underwood had a loaded team with Ayo Dosunmu and Kofi Cockburn and such, and they were upset in an embarrassing fashion by Loyola in the second round.
I remember.
Since then, and it hasn't been that long ago, but this is by far the best chance that they've had to make the second weekend. And believe it or not, the Illinois Fighting Illini have not made the second weekend of the NCAA tournament since 2005 when they went to the national championship and lost to North Carolina. They have a unanimous all Big Ten player in Terrence Shannon at the top of his game. When he gets out in transition, they're a very difficult team to beat. Marcus Domask, second team all Big Ten. When they have to get settled in the half court, he's the guy that breaks things down for them and really helps. Coleman Hawkins, third team all Big Ten. They're a loaded team. Honestly, as a four, I think they're going to probably be a 4 seed, Matt. And to be honest, and I think you said one of the radio stations where it's Peoria, so it's Illinois.
Yes,
country.
It is.
I don't want to upset people when I say this, but I actually think this team might have underachieved this season.
Wow.
They are very, very talented. They played Purdue the other day last week at home. They played one of their worst games of the season, and they still barely lost to them. This is a team that could beat anybody in the country, and I think the pressure's on for Brad Underwood and company. This team is good enough to make the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, and they need to find a way to do so.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a good showing in Minneapolis at the tournament this weekend.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, let's say they win just one game or something like that, I do think they're pretty firm on the 4 line right now for March Madness. I suppose they could go down to a 5, but
I don't think so.
It's either going to be a 4 or a 5, right?
I think it's a 4.
They're not going to go to a 6.
No, I think if they were to win the Big Ten tournament, there's an outside chance at a 3.
Okay, outside chance at a 3,
but it's probably a 4. This is a 4 seed.
I really like this Illinois team. As an Iowa fan, they were really impressive in both of their matchups, including this past weekend to close out the regular season of the Big Ten conference play. Northwestern and Chris Collins looks like a possible threat in Minneapolis. I'm not counting on it, but I think it's possible. And it does look like they're going to get their ticket punched to the tournament as well. But college basketball in this area, I think is and does leave something to be desired. Loyola had that magical run a few years ago. And outside of that, it's been pretty slim pickings. And I think this Illinois group is primed to make a run. And you think they could make a dent in March Madness when they get there?
Yeah, I think so. I think they should make the second weekend. I think, you mentioned Northwestern too. Northwestern's got a really good team. Unfortunately for them, it's just the injuries.
They're shorthanded.
Ty Berry, was their second best player, behind Boo Buie. And, him being out's really tough. But Chris Collins has done a nice job over there. And, I think they got a pretty good chance, in Minneapolis as well, maybe to win a game. But outside of Purdue, I think Illinois has by far the best chance to make a run.
Is Purdue this year a contender or a pretender in your mind? Purdue a contender or pretender?
Oh, no. They're a contender. Look,
okay.
March Madness.
I'm lukewarm on them.
Right. March Madness is it reminds me a lot of the 5-game series in baseball.
Really?
Sure, the Dodgers and Braves look like frauds last year because they went out and they won 1 billion games. But when you're playing one basketball game, Matt, I played the game of basketball, not at a high level. And when you're playing the game of basketball and it comes down to one game, especially with the 3-point shot and the parity in basketball now, it's really hard. And so, yeah, Purdue looked bad last year when they went out in that 116, but that doesn't mean they're not a contender. They are one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country. They may bow out in the second round this year, but it's random. And that's why people love it. That's why people love it. Your Iowa Hawkeyes, if they get hot, win a couple of games, they could make the tournament. The first game of the tournament, they hit 12 threes. Who knows? Every game's a game 7. And so, I don't think Purdue's a pretender, but that doesn't mean they're going to go all the way. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, for the Iowa outlook, I do believe that they're going to win their first game against Ohio State. We'll see what happens from there. There's such a ragtag bunch that it doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me, but I know their percentage chances are low right now to make the tournament, but I'm still holding out some hope. And on the women's side, Big Ten, you have an absolute superstar in Caitlin Clark in the women's program that's taken over swept the nation, and so I'm excited to keep tabs on them this month as well. And of course, then you have baseball right around the corner. And the Bulls and Blackhawks are, they play till about mid-April, and there's nothing really that stands out about them. What I found interesting in my research today, Sam. So the Bulls hold the number 9 spot in the Eastern Conference, right?
I guess, yeah.
They have never been over 500 this year.
Really?
Not one time. Now, here's the twist to this campaign for the Bulls. They are 21-19, 2 games over this year, without
Zach LaVine.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about the Bulls.
And that's really curious to me.
Well, Kobe White's developed into a very nice player.
He really has. Caruso and Vucevic.
Well, Caruso's
keep them competitive.
Tremendous. No, they actually aren't a bad watch, Matt.
DeMar
really
DeRozan has put a stamp on his entire career.
These
years have been relevant to the back of his basketball card.
They are not a bad watch anymore, but unfortunately in this league, if you want to win championships and compete for championships, you have to have superstars usually, or at least one. And with all due respect to Mr. DeRozan, he's not that, and the Bulls don't have that.
101.1 Peoria Sports Radio, 98.3 The Life, WKAN 1320 AM and 101.3 FM, 105.5 The Ticket, Cities 92.9, and on TV on ACTV and WJOB Jed TV. Before we get to Cole Wright, I want to give another shout out and a thank you to all the great affiliates that we just named here on Sports Talk Chicago, and thankful to John Z and John Meadows for working with us this week and letting us fill in. And some possible breaking news here. John is planning to return to this very hosting chair next week.